Sixth grade, happy Friday, and your math test. So you have the conversion thing. Remember, lesson 32 gave you that chart to be able to use. Be switching those things. You're sliding the decimal point right or left, depending on the number of times it's there. The problem solving says this: two sisters, Gabby and Natalia, decide to buy a computer together. Natalia earns money helping the girl's grandparents. Gabby is older. She has a full-time job for the summer. Because Gabby will be earning 3 times as much as her sister, she says that Natalia should pay for 1/4 of the computer. Natalia thinks she should pay for 1/3 of the computer. One of those sisters is right. Which one is it? Now, 6, if I was doing this problem, I'm looking at 1/3 and I'm looking at 1/4. I would think common denominators would be 12. So I would buy a $12 computer. And then I would figure out what 1/4 of $12 is and write that down and say, okay, that's what one person should pay. And if I take that amount times 3 and add it together, does it get 12? If it doesn't, then I'm going to do 1/3. I'm going to divide by 1/3, write that amount down. Take that number times 3. Add those two numbers together and see if that one equals 12. So if 1/4 added together with the other answer gives you 12, then that sister's right. If 1/3 added together equals 12, then the other sister's right. That's how I would do it. Working with 12 would make it the easiest way because they want to be fair. One sister earns 3 times as much as the other, so she wants to pay the right share. Your choices is Gabby or Natalia. There's a back side to this, guys. I'll encourage you to do the math. 3 pairs at 24 each, multiply them. 5 times 18 each, multiply them, add them together. Square centimeters in 1 square meter. So I have 1 meter by 1 meter. How many centimeters in a meter? You got to write that number down. It's the same number here, and then you got to multiply those two numbers together. So it's centimeters in a meter squared. Okay, yards to inches. You got to know how many inches are in a yard. Multiply by 4 and you got it. Your test rolls like this. What is the total purchase price? I would switch that to a decimal, 0.075. Multiply by that. Take your answer and add it to that because we want total price. Divide. $7 and a total of 38. They have the ratio of boys to girls in the assembly. There's 180 students, guys. That's a 3:2 ratio box because we have the total there. Average, add them all up and divide. There's 5. I would switch this to a fraction, 1/4, and figure out what is 1/4 of 96. Joel gave 1/4 of his 236 postage stamps to his sister. What percent did he give? So I got to switch 1/4 to a percent for A. How many postage stamps does he have left? So figure out what 1/4 of that is and then subtract that answer, or figure out what 3/4 of that is. Scientific notation, slide that decimal, count how many times you slide it. That'll give you a negative exponent. It'll look something like this when you write it, guys. You just have to have the right negative number here. This one is left 4 times. If A is 70, what's B? You got to know what two angles side by side add up to. Do your conversion and then compare. Your front side of your quiz might help you with that. Cruise on the back side. Divide 7 by this, guys. In the box, outside the box. Over, over, up, round to the nearest whole number. This one's all addition problem, so there's no adding the opposites. There's no subtraction. You just got to put your negatives together, put your positives together, and then subtract your two answers. Your conversions, divide, write twice, say this one correctly for a fraction, and reduce it, write twice for percent. Area of a parallelogram, guys, is base times height. Just make sure you get the right number. You need 2 of those. They gave you 3. One of those numbers is used for perimeter. One is not. So I always like to think when I'm finding area, I'm multiplying. I usually think of dots when I multiply. Stick your 2 fractions in and add like crazy after you first multiply them. Top of the next column, I'd cross multiply and then divide. Missing in multiplication, divide, in the box, outside the box. This one you're working backwards, guys. Subtract, then multiply, then 100 minus that answer. Subtraction first, common denominators, then addition and new common denominators. Improper, improper, state change, flip. Get that answer and multiply it by this one, improper. And last but not least, multiply, multiply, multiply. Count those decimals, make sure you slide it the right way. Make sure you show your work, make sure you check it over, make sure you do really well. Good luck.